Guys, welcome back to Cause Before Symptom. You haven't seen me in a very long time. My name is Urban. I'm carving for Pastor Carter tonight. He had some last minute business that he had to go deal with. Something came up, and he was had a few days that he's going to be out. So you're stuck with me. But I don't think that's a bad thing, actually. How's it going, Boots? Um, yeah, it pretty much is about the people in Congress and the Senate. You're right. That's 100% accurate. But for me on the East Coast, it just ticked 12 a.m. on New Year's Eve. So we're right at the cusp of another year. And this year has gone by so fast, it doesn't even, it's almost like a fever dream. I know that everyone thinks that time is getting faster, and they might not be so wrong because, you know, I'm young, I'm 25. How's it going, Claire? How are you doing? So everyone, I say, if you went back to the 80s, the people who are old enough to remember, do you think you could go from everything right now right back to the 80s? Or do you think it would be a little awkward? You'd have to slow your mind down a bit. So I think really these smartphones and the technology, I think actually what's happening is just people are thinking faster. And so the world is sped up. It's almost like literally the world is spinning faster. So maybe time has sped up a bit, but we're also getting older every day. So, but guys, I'm actually pleased to be here. I had some subjects that I've just had piling up, and I wanted to talk to somebody about them. So you guys are going to be my audience. And one thing that I think is actually interesting when Pastor Corner sends me a text message. He says, I've got to go handle this. I'll be out if you want to do the show, do it. And I was like, I've been ready to get back in front of the audience for some time. And I was like, you know what? I love your audience. They're good people because I know I see the same people come in every night that I'm here, the same regulars. And you know what? Anyone who comes to hear what I got to say or what Pastor Carter's got to say, you're welcome here. It don't have to be five, six, 10. I don't care. I mean, if there's five people that want to hear what I got to say, want to hear what Pastor Carter's got to say, it is very interesting because, of all these people who've got these huge audiences, I'd almost rather have this small audience of 10 people that come back every day. And you guys literally, if you guys don't show up to one of the live shows, we're going to be tracking you down because if one of you guys don't show up, something's wrong. So you see what's going on here. It's, you guys are here to hear what we have to say. But at the end of the day, we're here to talk to you guys, the 5, 10 people that keep coming back. So that's who we're talking to. And we don't care how many it is. We really, we're just in here to tell the people what we've got to say that want to hear it. Everything I do, I don't make money on it. I'm not interested in it, nor does Pastor Corner. He doesn't do anything with advertisements like that. The only advertisements he runs is his own product, which he actually sent me a free sample for Christmas. So I've tried it out. It's a solid product. I say anyone ought to give it a shot and see what they think because it's made me feel a little bit more stable throughout the day. And I've noticed that I've had a little bit more energy. And he's really created this product out of natural supplements. So it's about as natural as you can get. There's really no hocus pocus here. So give it a shot, and you might want to after we talk about what's going on here. This was brought to my attention by a very close friend of mine, and he said, "Man, you got to check this out." And so when I had a little bit of free time, I started checking it out. This is it's an ebook. It's just a free ebook. I mean, it's not a product or anything. It's called Parasite Pill. So the idea is like we're going to wake you up to what's going on with parasites. And so he sends me this ebook, and it's not really long. I mean, it's not dense. Like it's a lot. It's written by somebody who knows that we have shortened attention spans now. So we're going to just flip through it. We're not going to get through all of it. There's a lot to it, but really, I just want to make you guys ask them questions you might not have asked before. And some of the things you're going to see in here are really going to get your mind thinking. So a lot of this is actual scientific study. I mean, it does blend some humor in there. I mean, there's some memes and stuff, but I mean, it's got a lot of references to these scientific studies and these journal entries. And when you pair the research with some of the other evidence and thought experiments posed in this ebook, it's really hard not to leave you with honestly, more questions than answers. And that's kind of what I'll preface with. You're going to discover this, and it's going to leave you with more questions than answers. And that's what's a little freaky about it. But I've rambled on for a minute, and I've got kind of an intro slide that I put together for this project. So I'm going to play it for you, just get you in the mood. And I'm going to take a drink before I get started because I'm going to be doing a lot of reading tonight. So, guys, it's an honor to be here with you. And you'll be having me until, I believe, Thursday. You'll be back. So you'll have me for a few days. We'll find something interesting to talk about. And hopefully I teach you something you didn't know before. So I'll be back in a moment, guys. So it's a bit ominous, guys. The mood is ominous tonight. This is actually a very scary document. And what's going on here is I'll kind of preface with this before I get started. It would seem like the evidence points in one direction, but the actions being taken against this evidence are completely opposite. So either someone's really clueless, or it's almost like this problem is not meant to get any better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. We're not going to get through all of it. I'm going to kind of start at the beginning, and we're just going to work our way through it. So let's see. Here we go. Okay. Let's see if I can figure this out. Oh. Okay. Screw it. Get this other box screen over. There we go. Okay. So this is the table of contents right here. It starts off with a basic little bit of the immune system, the brain, symptoms, parasites, politics, the workers, the drones, the queen, truth is fiction. I don't even know what that means. Honestly, I've flipped through this book a lot, so I really have no idea. But deworming treatments. So yes, guys, if you think, again, every animal, every mammal has got a deworming regimen. So you've got a cat, you got to get it dewormed. You got a dog, you got to get it dewormed. Got a horse, got to get it dewormed. But if you're a human, don't worry about it. Do not worry about that. There's nothing wrong. They can't get you. So that's what's going on. So yeah, there's a lot of this is just kind of screen grabs or images, and it's kind of slapped together, but that doesn't have anything to do with the information. The information presented here is very actually matter of fact. So it starts showing you the basic anatomy of parasites here. Some of these images are a little graphic, so I'll just warn you now. But yeah, here it is. It starts off where I began. Cats, dogs, horses, cattle, chicken. All of them have a routine treatment of parasites, except for one, humans. So when was the last time you were prescribed a schedule, a routine treatment of parasites? Never. None of you probably have ever been told by your doctor, you might want to get this checked out. Nope. They always somehow, literally, guys, always, you go to the doctor, you're fat, you need to lose weight. That's what they tell you every time. I am a little fat. I do need to lose some weight. But some of the people they tell this to, I think they're crazy. I genuinely do. They'd be telling people, they're like, you need to lose weight. It just seems like that's what they tell you every single time you show up. So, just saying, they don't, nothing to do with parasites. Don't worry about that. The immune system of all mammals naturally fights off parasites, yet all mammals except one are still given a scheduled routine treatment of parasites. But how does the human immune system compare with the immune system of other mammals? Okay, so it starts getting into vitamin C. Is vitamin C necessary for a healthy immune system? What is the only mammal incapable of producing its own vitamin C? I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not even going to try it. Hypoascorbemia. If humans cannot naturally produce vitamin C, would humans be more susceptible to parasitic infection than any other mammal? If humans are more susceptible to parasitic infection than all other mammals, then why are humans the only mammal which is not given a schedule for routine treatment of parasites? So that's a very good question. There's if anyone in the audience can explain that or has an answer for that, uh, please let me know. I really, anytime you have any critique with what I have to say, as long as you can tell me this is what I think is incorrect, this is why I disagree with you, I'll hear you out. I will. I mean, I don't claim to be right. I don't know everything. If you got something to tell me, and I'll take it to consideration. Vitamin C deficiency does it result in depression, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's disease, gastrointestinal disease, fatigue, death, and even cancer? Do these symptoms result from a vitamin deficiency, or are these symptoms resulting from parasites rapidly multiplying in a host with an immune system weakened from vitamin deficiency? What is the real cause of depression, schizophrenia, Alzheimer's disease, gastrointestinal disease, fatigue, death, and cancer? It gets worse. So, it gets into alcohol. Why is alcohol so fervently pushed upon society? And it is. If you want to smoke a little bit of weed, well, until very recently, you were a criminal. And there are parts of the country that still think you are crazy if you smoke weed. But alcohol is a-okay. The way that I look at it, the way most people look at it, if alcohol is going to be legal, weed probably should be legal. Either make both of them illegal, or make both of them legal. But you can't do one and not the other. That's the way I view it. So does alcohol prevent the body's absorption of vitamin C? Sure does. Right there. Let's see. I'll even zoom in on it. Chronic exposure to alcohol interferes with the pancreas' ability to absorb vitamin C. Links right there. I put literally, actually, guys, I already put the link to this ebook. It's just a Google Drive link. Download it, check it out, go through it, and check all this stuff for yourself. I actually have done that. I've went through this. I've followed all of the links. I've actually tried to back up some of these things because there's a lot of images that I felt would be a good idea to save. Links that I think we should save. Does alcohol damage the blood-brain barrier, making the brain susceptible to parasitic infection? See, alcohol consumption is able to impair the blood-brain barrier. Yeah. So you want to check it? Go here. I've literally, guys, I've done this. If we did that all night, then we wouldn't have a show tonight. So I've presented the evidence to you. I would love for you guys to check it out and let me know if there's anything that I missed. But I have spent a lot of time, and my buddy who recommended this to me has spent a lot of time and recommended it to friends who has spent a lot of time going through this and checking these studies out. So it does look at this stage like it's a little bit odd that we don't have deworming treatments. That's a little odd. 2, seems like alcohol is promoted. Vitamin C, we don't produce it. So why are those problems that we don't seek to fix? I don't know. If a mammal is unable to produce its own vitamin C, and if that mammal is given a substance which prevents the body's absorption of vitamin C, would that mammal suffer from drastically compromised immune system? Would parasites thrive in such a host? What is the real purpose for promoting alcohol consumption? It gets worse. I don't know. Honestly, every page would probably have that at the bottom. Sugar. Sugar's next. And we love sugar. Everyone loves sugar. Do parasites require a continually high diet of sugar? Sure do. Let's see. Proliferating cell hypothesis, a metabolic framework for plasmodium growth and development. So, do they rely on these things? Sure do. Parasites incapable of surviving on fats. Did the sugar industry pay us into thinking that fat was the cause of ill health? Very interesting, guys. It's worse. It sure does. So, is promiscuity shamelessly pushed upon society? Well, you tell me. Is promiscuity shamelessly pushed on society? Oh. Yeah, see, there's a lot of this. Like, this is. I like that they put all of these together to show you that all of these different things play together. Yeah, I mean, hell yeah. I mean, let's not even beat around the bush. Anyone who's showing up to cause before symptom already knows what the answer to this question is. So we're not even going to debate it. They already know. Literally everything. I'm 25. Pretty much everything I can remember is you want to be like a celebrity. You want to be rich. So, yeah, promiscuity. If you want to, what they just have that girl sleep with 100 guys in one day. And so they bring her out to the podcast circuit. And they're interviewing her. They're like, oh my God, you did this big stunt, this big ritual. Slept with 100 guys in a day. And I honestly, that the girl's probably very messed up in the head. I don't know if she's doing okay, if she's not. But sleeping with 100 men in a single day, one day, I don't see how anybody could be okay after that. I really don't. But yeah, so yes, the answer is yes. I'm not even gonna say maybe. Yes, it's been pushed on society. Yeah, I'm reading your chat. I see what you're saying. So, can sexual transmission support the enzootic cycle of Trypanosoma cruzi? Sexual transmission of this parasite is an ordinary event in sexual transmission. So that's another thing. So these parasites can spread primarily through sexual transmission. So that is this idea that these parasites are inclined to survive. They want to survive. They want to do everything they can to further their survival. And so they're going to influence the host to do anything in its benefit. They'll convince the host that it's in its benefit to proliferate the virus. So, if sex spreads the virus well, they'll get the host to seek that out. And it goes into that here very soon. It talks about zombie deer. And I live, in Ohio. So zombie deer, we've heard of them around here. Essentially, they're these deer who just wander around, and they really are like zombies. What's happened is this parasite has taken complete control of the mind and the body. It has complete control of both. So if this can happen to a deer, which is a mammal, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't ask the question: can that happen to humans? So, evidence for previously unidentifiable sexual transmission of protozoan parasites. Let's see. Yeah, it spreads through sex. How many different types of parasites exist? 50,000 different parasites, 10,000 different protozoa. Yeah, listen, I'll tell you the truth. There are so many different parasites, and they all have names, specific names that most people can't even pronounce. So there's a lot of different parasites. Animals, plants, fungi, protozoans, bacteria, and viruses. sexually transmitted diseases, viruses that can be transmitted by kissing. Yes, it is. That's the way these organisms survive. Microplastics. That's an issue that I don't think, at least for me, because I'm young. I almost don't even want to know the answer to how bad that situation is because I know that's spiraled out of control. Let's see. Pathogens are capable of associating with microplastics, so these things may spread through microplastics, or at least facilitated, made easier by presence of microplastics. Microplastics on human kidney, proximal tubular epithelial cells. Mismanaged waste and are now so prevalent that they cycle through the earth in a manner akin to global biogeochemical cycles. So these things have possessed the planet. They're in the natural system of things now. They're recycled onto us. So this is an interesting issue. Why have we had fluoride? Why has it been fluoridated? Turns out that fluoride, guys, if you haven't been following along, turns out fluoride benefits the parasites. Turns out if you hypothetically wanted people to have parasites, it would be a good idea to add fluoride to their water. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anybody did that on purpose. I'm just saying if you wanted people to get parasites, add some fluoride to their water. Tell them it's good for their teeth. Put it in the toothpaste. Put it in everything. Put it in everything. Honestly, put it in everything. So, guys, listen. I'm reading along here. If there's anything you want me to clarify on, I'm going to read the highlighted parts, and I'm really going to. I'm just going to kind of give you my thoughts on it. Uh, it's very easy to follow along in this book. And honestly, what we want to do in the future is we want to put together a short series of coherent presentations. And again, we've only got, an hour and a half. So I can't literally, there's not enough time to give you all this information tonight. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to break it up a little bit. We're going to try to put these into some video formats and flush out, these studies and whatnot, and kind of go into it a little bit more, and give it to you as a short series, because there's a lot in this book. This book is very brilliantly put together, and I'm very glad to have come across it. Yeah, so it says any area in geographic zones where fluorosis is endemic. Those are very particular terms. I remember, you know what? I remember you telling me that you worked in dentistry in this whole idea with fluoride. Yeah, you guys who know what's going on, these people who go and look to a book on basic chemistry, or look at the warning labels on the old fluoride containers, obviously the stuff is not good. I would say April 1st, April Fool's Day. Ain't that the truth? It does feel that way. But yes, bacteria are parasites. Essentially, so a parasite is something that thrives off of its host. So I'm of the belief that parasites can actually exist beyond these microorganisms. I believe that humans or groups of humans, clusters of humans can be parasitic in nature too. I won't say this or that set of them. I will just say I think it is possible for human beings to live off of other human beings. The banking system. The banking system is very parasitic. The concept of interest is parasitic. That is the system. So it's a mechanism that needs to be studied, I believe, this idea of parasitic nature. And it's very interesting because it really quickly gets into a theological domain because, you know, what does it mean for evil to live off of good and good to live off of evil? Because they thrive on each other. That's what duality is. It's this idea that if you have one, you've got two somehow. Because black is not just black, black is not white. And so for black to exist, there has to be something white for it to not be. It's a weird logic puzzle, but out of one comes two. And then comes three. Two plus one is three. And that's gray. And nobody understands the gray. The gray is the darkness, if you will. The gray is this weird in-between space. It's the twilight zone, if you will. It's where up is down and down is up. It's pastiche. It's serious but haha. It's that darkness that's in between. That's three. And out of that darkness comes a little bit of magic because we don't quite understand what it is. The magic behind the number three. The Trinity, the family unit, the atom, all of them based on three. But somewhere in black and white, there is some magic in that dynamic. And so that's what the number three is. And this is Pythagorean in tradition. This is Pythagoras' theory of numerology numbers. They believed, and it was called the Tetractys, Tetractys, Tetractys. It's just a pyramid, one and then two, three dots, four dots. So, you know, one at the top, two dots the next row, three dots the fourth. And this is why the Tetragrammaton is set up that way in certain manifestations and personifications of the symbol. It's because 1, 2, 3, and 4 are your basic building blocks of it. That's this idea behind the Tetragrammaton, the sacred name, Yod He Vav He. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll have to do a show on that sometime because that's brilliant. It's I've only seen one book go into it, and it's very interesting. But we've gotten off topic, so I'll get back into this. I'm good at that, but I always try to bring it back around and make a loop around it. So, yeah, you know, you've got toothbrushes with fluoride, toothpaste with fluoride, water with fluoride, and then, okay, whatever. They called these people crazy for years, and then they just came out recently, very recently, and they said, hey, guys, that fluoride, you guys have been, the conspiracy theorists were right about it. Apparently, all of these researchers who we've paid $500,000 to their research, it slipped their mind. Actually, just completely and utterly slipped their mind. They have degrees, they're experts, but just turns out for 30, 40 years, they missed this one. They had no clue. They missed it. So, okay, maybe. Stranger things have happened in the course of history. So maybe they're telling the truth. Maybe they did just miss it. But for some reason, they seem to be doing okay. They're successful. They got all this money. They live in the dream. Why is there such a large push for bug protein? Yeah, they want us to eat bugs. We'll own nothing and be happy with it. And we'll all eat bugs. Turns out, parasites are in this crap too. I think you guys are following along. We're only on page 13 out of 181. It's really not looking good. It seems like everything that they're doing is counterintuitive. Oh, the parasites are linked to this. Well, fix those issues. Look, we're all sitting here in this live stream right now. All of us could come together as rational human beings and we could say, hey, you know, if we're going to give some research money away, let's give it away to this because this is what the studies show. No, heck no. They're giving it away to that scientist that works at that publishes the research, and that it slipped his mind. Just slipped his mind. He had no clue. He had no idea what was going on. So those are and if he messes up and if that slips his mind and 100 million other things slip his mind, it's okay. We're going to use that guy again because you know what? We can work with this guy. This guy knows how the game is played. He's in the club. So that's what it is. I mean, these people are they're just little friend groups. That's it. They're just little friend groups. They're all friends. They all know each other. And, they all go to the same yacht clubs. They all go to the same clubs. They're all in the same fraternities. They all went to the same high school. They're just friends. And they just hang out and drink together. And, well, you do what you're told when it's time to do it. The effect of polysorbate 80 on brain uptake and the analgesic effect of D-chiotorphin. I try with these names, but I think, again, the people who are all friends, who all went to the same class on naming things, I think it's a little bit of a joke to them that they'll, for instance, here you go. Here's a little bit of trivia. The fear of long words. So if you have a phobia of long words, the term for that is hippopotamonstrosesquippedaliaphobia. phobia. They're just messing with these people. They all went to the same school. They're all they all went to the Diddy parties. They're all buddies. You get it? They're all buddies. They're all friends. And it's funny to them. It's just okay. The fear of long words. Hold up. Let's make it a really long word. It's just funny to them. It's hilarious to these people. And you know what? I say that as I'm sitting here laughing at it. So it's a bit of a gray space, if you will. Do you understand? It's a bit of a gray space. I laugh at it because it's so ridiculous, but I mean, I don't know. What about the guy who really is scared of long words? Like, that's probably a hellish experience for that guy. So he goes into the doctor and he's talking to them. This doctor's like, man, I think I found out this guy's problems. I think this guy's problem is that he don't like big words. You need to be simple with this guy. So he says, hey, we figured out what you got. I think we're going to diagnose you with, and he pulls out, they have a big book. It's called the DSM-5. Now, this is a big book that basically lists all the criteria for, they're going to diagnose you with something. You need this many out of this criteria to be diagnosed with it. So he whips out the DSM-5. Yeah, hippopotamonstrosesquippedaliaphobia. I was a kid, and I don't know why, but it's in my mind. I can never get rid of that word. Hippopotamonstrosesquippedaliaphobia. Yes, that's how you say it. That is the real word. They're just messing with you. Like they're cracking up, laughing. And that's the thing, because all of these psyops that we're seeing now, you understand this is what's going on. All these psyops that we're seeing now today, and you're looking at it, and they are having a field day. And you know what? It's hilarious that this is what we're reading, but it was about fluoride. There are people. So Donald Trump comes out. He says, we're going to remove all the fluoride from the water. And the people on the other side, the liberals or whatever, the people that don't like Donald Trump, they're like, we're going to add the fluoride back to the water. So I made this meme, and it was Impractical Jokers. And it was, okay, now convince them to add the fluoride back to the water. These people are cracking up. They're cracking up at this shit. This is how ridiculous it's gotten. See, guys, you got a good laugh out of me, and that was because I'm sitting here entertaining you, however many of you guys are out there. But yeah, it's just, there is a method to the madness, though. And I hope you guys remember that about this whole ordeal. It's that, yes, I was sitting here having a genuine laugh about it. But what about that what about that hypothetical scenario? Like, these people don't take their work seriously enough. You make up these names, and like, that's a joke. That's just kind of a joke to you. Like, okay, whatever. It's like, I don't know. It's funny, but it's not funny. And there's that gray space between black and white, and that's where these people work. They work in that gray space. So, but yeah, I'm just having fun here tonight, guys. Been a wild past few days, and I think, and I think I've said this before, but you know what? Uh, Pastor Corner, I know he puts a lot of work into it, and some of the research he's been doing lately has been very detailed and in depth. He's put a lot of time into it. But at the same time, I'm going to bring you something that's worth your time, because I know you guys are smart people. So I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to bring you something without value. But you know what? Like I said, Pastor Corner does this for you. I do this, honestly, I do this just because I come to hang out with you guys and have an honest laugh with you guys. Because I think you guys are my type of people. I think you guys laugh at it with me, but you also know that it's very serious, and you know that this is very serious stuff, and all you can kind of do is just try to remain cheerful through it all. But this will be a shameless plug, guys. Shameless plug. If you don't like Parasites, go get you some Elite Potion and try it out. See what you think. And see if you feel any better. But I will tell you, you might be surprised. Yeah, guys, we're all family here. This is a big family. That's what it's all about. That's what my microphone likes to cut off on me randomly while I'm talking to you. I don't know why, but yeah, we're all family here. And honestly, I know that I speak for Pastor Carner when I say this. So I'm speaking for both he and I. I think both he and I would rather have a small group of people who come back every night, who we know, who we can talk on the same understanding with, than if we had 5 million viewers on each video. Because sure, we'd have 5 million viewers and we would probably be making money off of it. But at the end of the day, I don't know if I'd be smiling as much. I hope you really understand what I mean. I don't know if I'd really be smiling as much and having these laughs with everybody if it was about money. So maybe this small little family group we've got going here is what makes it the most genuine. And I think in terms of faith, Christian circles, church, whatever, I think it was always intended to be small. I don't think mega churches, and I'm not saying there aren't good mega churches. I mean, there may be. I would like to hold out some hope that there may be one or two out there. But I just don't think it was supposed to be that way. I think church was supposed to be a very local thing, very grassroots, very family-like, congregation, family. And I think that's what it's about. I think it's that we're supposed to rely on our fellow human beings that are around us and just seek to build a good community together. That's not built on greed, not built on money, because the love of money is the root of all evil. And I will carry that philosophy probably until the day I die, is that the love of money is truly, at the end of it all, at the end of all the roads, the root of all evil. I believe it is. 100%. All of these people at the top, the very tippy top, they do it so that they can provide for their families. They do it because they are human too. But at the end of the day, you either care about people or you don't care about people. And you'd be surprised what happens if you stop and take a minute out of your day and talk to the guy on the side of the road that most people pass by. So, you go to the gas station, corner store by your house, and you chat with the guy that's there every night. You know, the same guy's there almost every night. So you chat with him because you ain't got nowhere to be. He ain't got nowhere to be. He's there. You know, he's probably bored too. So you chat with him, and sure enough, every time that you give that time up, you'd be so surprised at the things those people have got to say. It don't even have to be on your level either. You know, maybe they'll tell you something, but it's from their perspective, and it'll just blow your mind. Yeah, yeah, definitely. This society that we live in, it seems like that you know, as much as we haven't made it through this book much, and I really encourage you guys to go check it out. It seems like we're tying this all in together because reading your chat, you said see Claire, you said I had a couple ex-boyfriends that were parasites, and it's almost like this entire society that we've been brought up in facilitates parasitism. This idea that you should use and live off of and gain your life force from other people. So the reason that I was really interested in this, and it might have even been unrelated, I can't truly remember, but I had seen, it was by Understanding Conspiracy on YouTube. They have a channel. The channel is called Understanding Conspiracy. And I'm going to link to their videos, actually. They put two presentations together, and the name of these presentations were Parasites Are Demons, the presentation. You know, it's nothing crazy, but these guys get their point across. For instance, one of the points they make that I remember clearly is they said in certain new translations of the Bible, they have completely removed verses where it says you can cast out demons through prayer and fasting alone. So these new versions, it just says by prayer alone. Who has made the decision? Why have they made the decision to remove that word fasting? Now, this, again, you know, I come here, I give you my opinion. This might be controversial, but I do think the Bible is is susceptible to manipulation. I do, because I think that man is corrupt in his fallen nature, and I do think that man has definitely changed the word of God by omission, by subtle manipulation. They have a creed behind it. The way they think that they can manipulate it. They have to manipulate the Bible within God's rules. That's the grand irony of this. They can't manipulate the Bible unless they manipulate the Bible using God's logic. So they've got to play this whole game within the divine logic, the word, logos, divine logic. The fact that the circle is proportional to this number pi. You know, this number pi, it's a irrational number, goes on to obscurity forever. And there's others. There's the golden ratio, and then there's this number. It's called E. It's for Euler's number. I was always a math head, and I was surprised to find out how many people in this field of research are not really into math, but I am. I thought math was what brought me into this kind of journey of discovery. But yeah, these numbers are very important, very powerful numbers, and they have special quantities. They're magic numbers. By all means, they're magic numbers. For instance, the number E is Euler's number. That's called the natural logarithm. A natural logarithm has a special property that the instantaneous rate of change of the function e to the x power, Euler's number, raised to some power, the instantaneous rate of change of that function is that function itself. So e to the x changes at a rate of e to the x. So that means it's proportional to itself, which is very interesting. And it's got all these natural logarithm, they call it, because it's got these natural properties to it. And these numbers are so specific. The golden ratio is called the golden ratio because it's in everything. It's in play. It's in everything. And these numbers are very indicative of a very logical system. You know, so I'm not saying do we live in a simulation. I know that Pastor Corner just did a video on that. All I'm saying is that this whole grand design is designed with logic. Just like a circuit board or a computer, they're using logic to make it work. If this, then that. That's what programming is. I am a programmer. Really, programming is simple, and it's a lot to do with if anyone knows about electricity. It's like AND gates, OR gates. Essentially, I say, okay, if this variable x is this number, well, then do this. But if it's not this number, then do that. Really, it's just a bunch of constraints. And so you just take this potential and you bring a little bit of logic to it. And that is a computer system. And I think the presence of those numbers, pi, e, golden ratio, there's probably a lot more. I think those numbers are completely evident that there was an intelligent, logical design. So whatever you want to call that, you call it God, you call it this, you call it that, whatever you want to call it, that's not my business. You call it what you want, you make your own peace. I am not here to change your mind. I'm just here for you to hear what you got to hear. But I think it really does point in a simple way to there being some method to this madness of everything. And so I always come back to this conclusion, or this question rather, it's a question. Is nothing something? And so it becomes a logic puzzle. Is nothing something? Well, nothing is a word, and nothing is not a thing. And so we're back to the duality. We're back to the black and white. And it's the answer to that question. That's the magic. It's the idea that is nothing something? Well, yes, it is. But there's also an element of no, it's not something to it. That's what makes it a mystery. It's both somehow at the same time, but it arises out of just a thing and there not being that thing. 1, 2, and 3. And I think that's what Tesla was talking about. I think that's what Tesla was talking about. He said, if you understand these numbers, if you understand energy, there's a magic behind it, and it's Pythagorean, and perhaps I'll do a show on that. I really had no intention of even talking about that, but it came up tonight, and really, it might blend the two worlds for you a little bit, because as a matter of fact, this is the basis to your deck of cards. So that's why there are 4 suits to the deck of cards, because those 4 suits are 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is also the basis of the tarot deck. No, you don't got to believe in it. But this is where it came from. And there's only one book that accurately describes it. And as a matter of fact, it comes from the Tetragrammaton. Yod, He, Vav, He. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and I don't tell you what to believe. I never will tell you what to believe. That's one thing that Pastor Corner and I will not do here on this show, is that we will not tell you what to believe. My whole thing that I've done is I said, you know what? Don't listen to me. All the books that I find and I download, all the research that I find and come across, I make it available to the public. And then I go and I'm watching this YouTube video. The guy's like, oh, and the video is okay. Like, the guy's cool. He knows what he's talking about. And I go down to his links, and it's like, oh, sign up for my classes, university. So I go to his site, just look at it, and he's like, oh, $5,000 for a lifetime membership, or $500 a year. And I mean, it's like, okay, you know, maybe I could charge like $30 and you get everything I find forever. Maybe, just because, you know what, I'm doing a little bit of work, throw me enough to make something to eat at night. But I was just blown away. $5,000 for a lifetime membership. $5,000 to buy a new car for that. $5,000. And this guy is doing probably what I'm doing. I mean, yeah, he's smart. He knows what he's talking about. He's got a bunch of books that you can read. I just give it away for free, because I really don't, you know, listen, I'm finding these books online, There's no magic to it. And I just download them, save them, because I don't know if they're going to try to change this information, get rid of it. So I started saving it. And a kind friend of mine, if you're watching, you know who you are, donated to me a big external hard drive just because I needed somewhere to save this stuff, because Internet Archive, they went down mysteriously. And the way I read that was, perhaps they're getting rid or replacing information. So I'm like, it's time to have an external hard drive copy of this. And he was kind enough to donate one to me. So I'm very glad to have good friends like that. But I started downloading all these things. I make almost all of it available. I mean, if I don't make it available, either it's something I don't see as important, or sometimes I honestly, there have been times that I find some stuff that I don't feel comfortable putting out to the public because it's kind of dark. And so some of that stuff I won't put out. But everything else I put out, almost everything I find, and I just make it available, because don't believe me, don't believe Pastor Carter. Here's the information. Read it. Come to your own conclusions. And honestly, usually for the most part, people will go and look at the information, and they'll at least be prepared to have a rational conversation. Okay, well, yeah, there's some points as I see why you believe this, but maybe I think this is a little bit different. Okay, fine, that's cool. The issue is that people now just won't agree to disagree, and they don't understand that conversation and this dialect, they call it the dialectic, and it can be used negatively, but it also can be used positively. I mean, essentially, you get into a conversation with somebody, and this guy believes this way. Maybe this guy agrees with you mostly, but he has a few disagreements. And so you just say, okay, you teach me and I'll teach you. And so you've got a little bit of a difference there, but you kind of move it in a direction where you both learn something that you didn't know before. And so that's why there's power to good conversation. And again, at the end of the day, I am talking to you guys as I would talk to anyone else. I don't come here with a persona. I don't intend to. It's like I could come here and I could, this look a certain type of way, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to talk to you the way that I am. And that's it. But let's get through a tiny bit more of this. And then I'm probably going to cut it short here in about 15 minutes. Just because it's really been a long day, and I don't intend to go very long. But tomorrow, you got me again, and we're going to probably talk about either we could talk about the number theory, or we can go over some of these other concepts that I wanted to talk about. For you guys who remember Masters Mayhan podcast that we watched on this show when you first met me, essentially this research that I've done kind of points to this origin being in secrecy rooted in fear. So at the end of the day, a lot of these dynamics, the way that I've heard it put, is that Satan not being a god of life, that meaning Satan only being the absence of good, not the presence of evil. So there's good, light, but then there's only the lack of light. So there's the presence of light and the lack of light. And it's this idea that because Satan exists in that dynamic, he only gains power from the light. So he's got to steal the light. He's got to gain power through influence. It's that he gains power through influence. And so you have faith, which leads people to positive actions. And I use the word faith and love together, because in faith there is love, and in love there is some faith. And that's the positive. But then in the negative context, that fear-based context, that's the other word, fear. Faith and fear. Love and fear. Those are your two true emotions. And so those are the calls to action that we, as humans have. We either act out of faith or we act out of fear. Love or fear. So it's this idea that secrecy builds fear. You keep secrets, it kind of holds you hostage over time. So imagine you keep a secret, okay? Well, now you're keeping a secret. Shakespeare called it a tangled web we weave. And so you keep a secret between two people, and that secret spirals out of control because then you're covering lies with lies. If I cover for you, me and you are buddies, just me and whoever, we're buddies. We used to go to high school or something together, and I do something stupid, and I say, hey man, cover for me. I messed up, cover for me. And then a couple of days later, he does something stupid. So he comes to me and he says, hey man, I covered for you. Now I need you to cover for me. Then we're in it together. We've got a bond out of secrecy. That's where this whole thing spirals out of control. Before you know it, he's covered for you, you're covered for him, you're in it together, and then you don't even know where the hell you are. Because before you know it, you're covering lies with lies, and this, and you lose. It's a web. You get caught up in it. That's why Shakespeare called it that. Well, that's the general idea behind this research, and that is what a Mahon is. A Mahon is a person who capitalizes on that secrecy. So your tradesmen, your Freemasons, the Stonemasons Guild, they knew how to work with stone, so they capitalized on it. They kept it a secret, a mystery, if you will. They called it a mystery because it was a mystery how they built these beautiful stone building. It's a mystery. To this day, it's a mystery. How did they do it? Well, it's because they knew. They just knew how to do it. They were smart. They brought some order to the chaos. That's what they say. And that's what that means. So I did a little bit of research based on the title of that podcast, and it turns out that it's a Mormon term. And this term, Mormonism was founded by Freemasons. So it's this idea that they had to weave a new mythology around it, if you will. And I'm not going to get into that right now because if I do, I'm going to spoil my next show. I could talk about it, and I just ramble on, but I think you guys will be in for a treat with that one. We got a lot of things to cover, guys. I hope that we'll have more time together in the future. It's just whenever Pastor Corner has something to do, whenever the time is right, I end up back here in front of you guys, and whatever I say, if you hear it, take it to heart. That's it. Yeah, so it continues on. This book continues on talking about parasites and these let's see, fenbendazole. Exactly. You're 100% right on that. If there is no darkness, then your light is never noticed. That's the duality. It's that light and dark have to be together. They can't be separated. And that's the great dilemma. That is the great dilemma. That is the great mystery. That's the gray. That's the darkness, if you will. It's the mystery. So how is it that 1 is 2, and then 3 comes out of it? That's the mystery of the Trinity. So, again, maybe we'll go into that in the next few episodes. Yeah, so this drug has been, I think it's a dewormer, it's been tested on reptiles. It to be an effective dewormer against infections of ascarids, oxyurids, and strongylides. I have no clue. But, again, let me remind you this. If you read this book and you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll try it. Try it, deworming. Actually, guys, you're a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy, and you're a nut. So that's what they want you to believe. That's the script. You're a nut if you take horse dewormer. So it's just a script. It's just a show. That's all it is. Think for yourself. Don't let people tell you what to think, and you'll be okay. Make up your own conclusions. Don't believe anything. I've said this 100 times on this show. I really have. I think I've said this a lot. Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Live your life by that. Prove anything you believe. This is what Bill Cooper said. He said, anything you believe it when you can prove it with your own evidence. And that's fair. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. I really don't. But here's the deal. People spend their whole life, they say, oh, I want proof of the Bible. Was Jesus real? Give me proof. Well, ask that question all you want. But you'll be surprised one day when your world is turned upside down. You'll see how real it is one day. And it'll be an experience that's personal to you, and it will have nothing to do with anybody else. So, yeah, so let's see. It has no side effects and is safe for human consumption. Why was an extensive study funded to determine how long animals used for human consumption must be weaned off of this drug? So essentially what it's saying, I like that, Boots. I identify as a conspiracy theorist. My pronouns are I told you so. I don't even like it because it's like, I say we're not conspiracy theorists anymore. They are coincidence theorists, because at this point the conspiracies are right most of the time. So they are just theorizing in coincidences. You know, they just think it's all a coincidence. It's like, imagine living these last few years. Seriously, imagine living these past 10 years and just not being suspicious at all. You don't ask any questions. If that's the case, you probably got a lot of parasites. So why was this study done? The study was, okay, we've got these animals who will be used for human consumption. How long do we need to wean them off of dewormer so that they don't have any in it by the time it reaches the dinner table? But this drug is safe for human consumption. So it's like they've conducted a study to see how long they need to wean them off so that we don't get it in us. Like, there is a method to this madness here, and it is very messed up. It really is. It's scary as hell. Takes about 4 to 6 months these days. Yeah, y'all are great. See, we all ended up here in this little tiny corner of the internet, and yeah, we're all here for a reason. Trust me on that. I tell you right now, everyone here who keeps coming back every night, I promise you, you're here for a reason. I will tell you that. I can't tell you what your personal reason is, but you are here for a reason. Withdrawal periods, 6 days for edible tissues. So if it has no side effects, it is safe for human consumption. Why is it labeled not for human consumption? Well, because you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. Sorry, what do they call us now? A far right, white supremacist, a anti-Semite, conspiracy. Oh, sorry, extremist. We're extremists now because we think for ourselves. So yeah. So if you read this book, and if any of this makes sense to you guys, any of this that you're reading right now, if any of this makes sense to you, you are an extremist. Do not think anymore. Stop thinking. Turn your mind off. That's wrong. Think. Correct yourself. See, it's just a program. It's just a script. It's just a script. If it has no side effects and is safe for human consumption, why require that it not be used to animals meant for human consumption? Do not use for horses intended for human consumption. I didn't even know they had, okay. Harms parasites inside humans. Glyphosate helps parasites inside humans. Okay, so then it says, does glyphosate cause terrible damage to the cells? Does it this damage human digestive tract result in ineffectively absorbing vitamins and minerals required for a strong immune system? Sure, but glyphosate is sprayed directly onto the crops. I laugh out of hurt because this is very messed up, but it is so insane. It's the darkness. We're in the gray area. We're in between black and white right now. We're in the twilight zone. It's like this shit is so you can't help but laugh or you'll go insane. Seriously. It's not funny. It's really not, but it's true. Very true. I mean, seriously, if anyone in the audience, and I'm just covering my ass here, if anyone in the audience has any issues with this, the link is in the description right now. I put it in before the show. Scroll down, look in the description of this video. The link to Google Drive is right there. Go through this book. If you really don't believe it, verify it for yourself. And if there's anything in what I said that's incorrect, just leave a comment. You ain't gotta be mean. You just gotta say, hey man, I've checked into this. This is actually the case. Here's why I think that. Okay, cool. I'll say, yeah, okay, cool. Thanks for telling me that. I didn't know that. But no, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of people who are very smart people have read this book. Even some people who have not been convinced. People who kind of held out a little bit. People who didn't, it's like, oh no, obviously they're not doing this to us. They read this book and their mind was changed, and that's why I decided to present this to you, because that's what the Parasite pill is. The red pill, whatever. This is the Parasite pill. Okay, we're going to leave off here, just some facts and fiction. And guys, we just made it to the first chapter. So definitely check this out. It's free. I don't charge. We're not charging for this. It's free. It's a Google Drive link. I upload it. It's it. People would be like, okay, you got the first chapter. You're going to need to spend $500 for this ebook, and you get a lifetime membership to this ebook. And we'll get on a Zoom call and we'll tell you about our product that you got to buy. No, his products, Pastor Carter's Elite Potion product. I mean, it's a good product. I mean, he sent me a sample to try. It's good. It's natural. He made it himself. He crafted it with love, and it just turns out that it seems like it was a good idea to do it, because this parasite problem is out of control. I think it truly is. And this book starts to go into how it leads to degeneracy, and how every society has devolved into degeneracy in the same fashion. And again, this is a deep rabbit hole to go down, but all of these societies, ancient Rome, ancient Greece, all of them descended into frat boys and party animals, and they called it the Bacchanalian or Dionysian conspiracy, the god of wine and partying. So it's this idea that they just what's the word? There's a word that's on the tip of my tongue. The Gilded Age, the age of overabundance. There's another word that I'm forgetting, but it's this idea that they were too comfortable, and so they just resigned to wine and orgies. Fact. Despite there existing a recommended parasite schedule for every other species which comes into direct contact with humans, there exists no recommended parasite treatment schedules for humans. That's a fact. Fact, it has been made illegal to treat humans with most effective methods for treating parasites. It's a fact. We proved it. I've scrolled through this whole thing. It's right there. Check it for yourself. Fact, all parasite medications are intentionally prevented from entering food meant for human consumption. All this results in a system where humans are forced to rely entirely upon their immune system to combat parasites. However, fact, humans have a naturally weak immune system due to their inability to produce vitamin C. Fact, the human immune system has been intentionally weakened through a variety of external methods. Fluoride added to our water, heavy metals added to the air, glyphosate added to the food. Yeah, guys, it's whoever put this together, they knew what they were doing, and they did some good research. I think they did. I really commend them for their research. Yeah, I think we really need to bridge this gap. And from where I'm standing right now, I will tell you with absolute certainty, this issue of parasites is much deeper than it seems. And I think this may be the answer to a certain question I don't know if we've asked that question yet, but it is the answer to a question. Because demons are parasites. You can't, you don't have one without the other. It's like a demon, by definition of being a demon, is a parasite. So every demon that's ever existed has been a parasite, yes. I don't know if that works the other way around. I don't know if every parasite that has existed has been a demon, but it's a very interesting question if you really bounce that around in your mind. I'll say that again, that's important. Every demon that's ever existed is a parasite. It is a parasite because a demon lives off of its host. It thrives off the goodness in the host, the light in the host. But I'm not quite sure if I can conclude the other way around yet. Maybe we can. I don't know. The question is worth asking. Are all parasites by default demons? I don't know. But I think there's a lot to answer here. And that's where that other presentation came into mind, the Understanding Conspiracies one. The more you go down this rabbit hole, there's a lot of evidence that's hard to ignore. And it just seems like somebody's either very stupid or it's been set up this way. But again, I don't tell you what to believe. So do your own research. The book is in the description. And yeah. But the funny thing is, every time I get up here and I start talking to people and I start rambling on, past a certain point, I have enough to say and I just kind of feel winded almost. Not like I'm out of breath, but just because I've said what I got to say tonight. We've really gone over a lot tonight. There's been a lot that we've talked about. And we finished off on one chapter. But I'll let you guys do the research. Talks about zombie deer here. Yeah, that's a good meme. I like that. Some of these are funny. It's pretty true, though. 2012. Yeah, it's true. It's so true. I'm telling you guys, here is the secret behind it. They're all running a script. It's all a script. All these people are running a script. Those people are running a script. These people are running a script. They're all running a script. So these people have bought into the Disney script. These people have bought into the Ukraine script. These people have bought into the COVID vaccination pandemic script. It's a script. These are all scripts. So if you understand that, you'll know what's going on. All of it. You're not immune to it. None of us are immune to it. The idea is that when these people break out and they find out, oh, wait, this is all BS. So now they've got to take this group of people and they've got to give them a new script. They've got to take these people who have broken out of the Matrix and they got to write a new script for them. So they're just keeping us busy with movies. This is what they're doing. Yeah, this is an insane book. How many people did you sleep with in college? Yeah, some of this stuff's pretty shocking. At least it was for me. 3 a week, 50 weeks in a year, 200 weeks in 4 years. So around 600, 200, more than 100. I don't know. That doesn't make rational sense to me, and maybe that's just because of the type of person I am. I don't understand. Like I don't get that whatsoever at all. I don't know how you could truly I think at least one of these answers here has got to be real. So that's just scary. And then they had this girl that did it as a stunt. I think it was a bit of a ritual. So, okay, this is what you're going to do. You are going to go and you're going to sleep with 100 different people. And then we're going to blow it up on social media. Hear what I'm saying here. Somebody, this girl, whatever, they say, hey, you want to make some money, you want to get famous. What we're going to do is we're going to blow you up on social media and you're going to go and you're going to sleep with 100 people. And you're going to have a hell of a time. It's going to be good fun. And you're going to get rich doing it. And you'll be famous. And so they do it. And it becomes a story. These people, you're following the story. You're following who this person is and what they did. And I don't know. I just can't help but think somewhere in it she's just gone horribly wrong. I don't think it was ever meant to work that way. I don't think we were supposed to sleep with 100 different people in one day. I don't think so. So you think you're so high and mighty. Nothing against the girl. You think you're so high and mighty that you get to say that as a human, we're just going to test fate and we're going to sleep with 100 guys in one day, knowing that it was never intended to be that way. Because you sleep with somebody, okay, it's you're going to have a child, you're going to raise a child with them. You got 2 dogs, they do it, and they have a litter of puppies, okay, and so the mom does what the mom does, and the dad just goes on about his day. I mean, a dog, it's not like the dog has to do much, but it's this idea that it's for posterity and to increase life, the God of life. It's a sacrament to the God of life. And so these people think themselves so vain that they're going to just push it to the max. They're just going to, this is a good quote. The best things collapse of their own weight. I wish I remembered it in Latin. The best things collapse of their own weight. And so it's this idea that sex is so good, so we're just going to fuck it 100 times in a day. Let's see if we can do it 100 times in a day. So it's lost its holiness, and that's a big problem in society. But guys, truly I could ramble on for a lot of hours here. But I'm pretty tired and got a long day tomorrow. So I suppose you won't see me until next year. It's always a joke I say on New Year's Eve. So sure, yeah. What's up? I'm happy to answer questions. I don't mind. If you guys have anything to say, say it. I mean, I'm happy to have a conversation with the audience. I mean, oh, that was a great question. Hmm. That is a very interesting question. So, okay, here's the deal. Pastor Carter and I talked about this a bit, actually. And yes, you can verify it yourself. I've got the coordinates of all of these doors, or as they call them, portals. Now, pay very close attention. Nobody calls doors portals. I've never heard anybody in real life ever call a door a portal. Ever. So why have they chose these words? Uh, so you plant these locations on a map, and it's the sigil of Lucifer. Now, it's a cult. It is. So whoever planned this, and I don't know who it is. Don't know if it's the Pope. Don't know if it's the Curie. I don't know. Whoever planned this event is an occultist. That I can say. But again, light. So light enters the eyes, and the sun and the moon and the earth. There's this idea about light and how light bends, and that it forms this sigil. So I proposed to Pastor Carter. I said, look at the direction the sigil is going. It seems like they're pointing the sigil towards the east. And so I brought up and entertained the idea that maybe it has to do with this idea that the breaking of the spear ritual, they're going to pass the power back. They're going to pass the light in the direction of that sigil. That's just one interpretation. But that event was a ritual. It was completely occult, esoteric ritual. But I'm not quite sure if it was just a Catholic thing. I don't know. the way that the wording of these articles was used, I don't know. It might be we might have more of a role in this than we think, is what I'm trying to say. The people who are reading the story and who are using the words portals and rituals, that might be part of this whole thing. But I don't know. It's very strange. It is absolutely strange. And I don't know. Given these past few days, I don't know. Interesting. Do we know? I did not know that. What is a black moon? I have to write that down so I can remember that. Very interesting. Hmm. 2 new moons in 1 month. One of my favorite sayings is, we will all truly be blown away and surprised and shocked at the things that'll happen when all of those stars up in the sky align just perfectly. We'll all be shocked at the things that can happen. They call it a full moon, or there's different things they call it, but it's just all of the stars in the sky that are out there. They will probably, the infinite amount of them. There will probably never be in the exact same permutation again. Way of being arranged, I mean permutation. So truly, every way these stars line up might just be completely and utterly unique. Or it goes to infinity and it would take a lot of time for every possibility to play out. But we will all truly be shocked and surprised, and the world will turn upside down and you won't even know how you got here. You'd be truly shocked what'll happen when the stars will align. And it's just an old saying, and I'm not saying you should believe in astrology, this, that, or the other. I'm just saying strange things happen every day. That's another old song. Strange things happen every single day. But I think, honestly, that's a good a little bit to leave it on. So thank you for bringing that up. You gave me my ending, and I'm going to investigate that more. Yeah, that is interesting that it was right after this, and yeah, very interesting. Oh God, I think Siri was listening to me. Yeah, they're spying on us. So yeah, the all-seeing eye is all our phones, all our speakers, all of our Ring doorbells, all of our smart vacuums, all of our Glade air fresheners. That they have these weird advertisements. You're like, oh, the Glade air freshener's got microchips in them now. Why would it need a microchip? Why would I want? Why are you advertising to me that my air freshener's got a microchip in it now? I don't know. But that's the all-seeing eye. It sees everything. They got everyone's Ring doorbell. They got everyone's browsing history. It sees everything. It sees the parts of you that you don't even see. So, but guys, that's it. That's all I got for tonight. You'll see me again tomorrow, and I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to be the same bunch of you guys who show up every single night, and we're going to do the same thing. Honestly, you know what? I think it's very interesting. Yes, I don't use it a whole lot. Like, I haven't gotten deep into it, but I do recognize the potential to use it. And I have been kind of playing around with it, and it's all about how you ask the questions. So what they'll do is they'll kind of trip you up with these sensors. They'll say, oh, you can't ask that question. That's wrong think. That's thought crime. Don't think of that. So you got to like trick the AI and just like, oh, just pretend that this is just hypothetical and none of this is real. Just like, okay. Oh, okay. Now I'll answer the question. So like you got to jailbreak the AI, but it's fascinating. It really is fascinating. But yeah, I found that AI can be used to really make you think. Make you think about some things you never thought about before. And if you know how to use it, it's very powerful. But there may be a dark side to AI. I'll just say that. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying it might be bigger than we think it is. There might be a lot more to this whole AI dilemma than we know. But guys, I truly appreciate each and every one of you. You guys bring me up here and give me a chance to talk to you. So I appreciate it. And whatever comes to mind, really, I start with the concept, flush it out just a little bit, and then I wing it. I just come and I present it to you, and I comment on it, and y'all like me apparently. Honestly, that's my secret. I just show up with an idea in mind, and we go at it, and I comment on it, and you guys seem to like it. So I can't argue with that. So I appreciate everyone tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow night, same time. And tomorrow will be New Year's. We love you too. We love each and every one of you out there, everyone who comes back every night. But yeah, 2025 is going to be a very crazy year. I am certain of that. 2025 is going to be a year unlike anything we have ever seen before. We will all be shocked at the things that can happen when those stars align. But until next time, guys, this has been Cause Before Symptom. The night before 2025. New Year's Eve for me. I think the West Coast, they've got another 32 minutes left. But New Year's Eve. Be well, guys. Have a good night.